Do you wanna know one of my biggest pet peeves with social media? I mean, beyond that it can literally go through a massive change tomorrow at, a billionaire's whim. No one is honest about how it looks to actually run a business. Often what we see are the shiny numbers of, "Oh, I'm a six-figure business owner," or "I had this massive launch." But we don't share the reality of what running that business really is. But growth doesn't happen just overnight. Honestly, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, somebody who's kind of creative, it is super easy to get distracted and work on something that doesn't help grow your business, get shiny object syndrome, and have some lulls you just don't really expect. But you know what? We often don't look at the victories like we should either. I'll be honest, I don't often share the ins and outs of my own business because it's just not my favorite thing to really dive deep into what that looks like. But today I'm reflecting on some things that went right and some things that didn't go to plan. And why? That's all okay. Okay, so first off, when I started last year, 2023, I had some big ideas for how I wanted the business to grow. I wanted to reach a certain revenue level, add a new service for monthly recurring revenue and make our lives easier. And personally, I wanted to get out of a lot of the client work. Yeah, we missed most of those. Now, the business still grew, just short of being multiple six figures, which is still great. We signed several new clients, seven new websites, and within that number, our three main clients continue to grow, and we help them do some pretty incredible things. So I just want to let's just shout them out for just a second and kind of showcase what we did this year. One client, we helped to transfer over an entire HubSpot website, blogs, landing pages, event pages, signups, all of these things, forms, it's a lot, into their main website as they transitioned over to Salesforce. We helped them to improve their overall SEO and user experience because everything was coming to their main domain now instead of weird subdomains you would have to go find things for. We also started recoding their website, transitioning it into a custom WordPress theme that when we get finished with it, because it is a huge website, it's going to be lighter, more accessible, and just overall faster and run better. Now, another client of ours, we helped to build several websites for launching big projects, helping them to transition to some of the old code that they had for clients to ensure that their clients are ready for technological changes that are coming with some really like PHP upgrades, which means nothing to you if you're not a coder, but it's a really important thing to keep on top of for us. Now, we also got to build some incredible landing pages for another client, helping to them to have their biggest boot camp and biggest digital course launch ever just this past October. Now, if I had to drill down with my business coach on why we missed our goals in 2023, it's because personally, I was too focused on doing everything I just talked about, right? I was too focused on making our clients' businesses work. That's one reason why we get great reviews from our clients because we care about them and their growth. Sometimes to a fault, fully aware of that. But here's the secret when you run a service based business, you have to also run your business and treat it like you would a client's. It's a hard lesson. I learn it about every other week, right? Now, I had some unexpected shifts with my business coach towards the beginning of the year that did not help and did not help keep me accountable to running the things the way that I knew they needed to be run. Um, but we missed goals largely because I was scared. Scared to put Captain Cutter out there like I should. Scared to play bigger, try new things, and meet new people. Okay, I'm an introvert. I'm always scared to meet new people. Let's just put that out there. Now, listen, I course corrected a bit towards the end of the year. I have a lot of new things that I'm going to try and I've planned out for in 2024, but it absolutely impacted my revenue in 2023. In 2024, I'm focusing on being fearless, which is hard for me. But that means raising our rates because we do amazing work and we're undercharging for it right now. Putting myself in new digital places and maybe even some new physical ones too. Am I scared? Absolutely. But the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So it's time to make changes in how I work. Now, really, it's just about treating my business like I would a client's and stop being afraid of trying something new. Now, this is all not to say that nothing went right in 2023. Like I said, our revenue still grew by 72%. So it just wasn't quite what I wanted to hit, but we still had a massive increase. The goals we did hit, though, I think those matter more in the long run and are much more impactful for the longevity of my business. So, first of all, I was able to bring my developer Nicole in as a full-time employee. She had been a contractor before this. She is now a full-time employee. By the end of 2023, she is salaried with PTO, the full week off between Christmas and New Year. And in 2024, we're transitioning to a 4-day work week. She is. Let's see if Marisa knows how to not work on a Friday. I'm just going to be real. Now, not to mention, so we brought Nicole on, not to mention, I am now a salaried employee of Captain Coder. That means I'm getting a steady paycheck, I'm lowering my taxes, and I hear rumblings that I may be getting a refund. That's unheard of for me in my time as an entrepreneur, so that's super exciting. Now, in the fall, we hired a second developer to help with overflow as a contractor. My VA, Kaylin, started in December of 2022, towards the end of last year, but she's become an invaluable member of our team. 5 powerhouse women now make Captain Coder run, which is pretty incredible. I also this year said goodbye to my bookkeeping. Don't touch it anymore. I have never once ran my payroll. Listen, always hire the things out that you hate, which for me has anything to do with money. Totally, just to be totally honest with you. Now, one of the goals that I had personally this year was a huge deal for me, and that was to take an entire week's vacation and have the business run without me. Now, there was a lot of prep work that went into this and a lot of planning, communicating with clients because I still do a lot of the client communication. But this was the first real vacation I'd taken in 6 years. Ever since I went off on my own, this was my first vacation. And oh my God, it was so necessary. Um, I get bored pretty quickly. Like it's Christmas break, and here I am recording a podcast. So I was a bit worried about taking time off. But Mac, my husky, and I went down to a beach house in South Texas and we just enjoyed the waves. We sat on the beach. I got to read 3 really good books, eat some good food. It was an incredible time and everything just really ran smoothly while I was out. Now, I also got to take a long weekend a couple months later to visit my brother and his family and watch my nephew in his first big swim meet. I worked a bit while I was there, but I just got to enjoy time with them and be more disconnected from the business. Now, for my personal development, I set aside a few days and flew out to a retreat slash conference in November that really helped me to get some clarity on my business. And it didn't hurt that it took place at Disney World and I got to spend a day in the park. That was also super fun. Now, and for my love of teaching, I last year got to start this year, really. So last spring, um, I got to start a middle school lunch coding club. and teach a second class at Wichita State as well. Here's the thing, what happens a lot when we run a business is that we look at just the revenue or the numbers that we deemed important at the beginning of the year. But I also know that a lot of these things that happened in my personal life, a lot of these shifts that happened in the business, those matter far more than pretty much anything else we could have done. I'll admit I was a little bummed to see that we are like 20K short of where I was hoping to end the year. But the thing is, we got to grow in some incredible ways this year, and I put work life balance more at the forefront. Still not great at it. Absolutely a work in progress, but it's more at the forefront. Not everything, when you run a business, will run how you think it will, but often you're going to get some good things you didn't expect either. Now, I'm going to challenge you here at the end of this very short episode today to reflect on what worked for you last year. Go back and look at your goals if you wrote them down, write out what worked, what didn't, but don't forget to factor in all of the good things that you may not have planned for or accounted for. It was a really great exercise for me to sit down and go, okay, yes, we didn't hit these goals, but what did we do that worked really well? It'll help you feel so much better about your business and where you are at, and help you plan more for what matters to you in 2024. Now, thank you all for tuning in this week. I'll see you next week, same time, same place.